G'day everyone, and welcome to part 7 of the 3Racing Sakura Ultimate Build series. Part 7 we will be continuing. This is a continuation of the main chassis build. In this part we will be assembling the shock towers and assembling them onto the main chassis, and also attaching the main deck, or top deck rather. Now I've gone ahead and done the front. As you can see, here's the front shock tower assembly with the bulkheads. Now one thing I've had to do, because it is really fiddly and it would take too long to do, I've put the ball studs on, like the pillow balls on to the bulkheads here. The reason why it is really fiddly, if you look here, you'll see how there's tiny little holes. These are for adjustments, and you can see how there's like a oval shaped spacer. That's the silver one at the bottom. It's oval shaped and it has two prongs that go into little holes. You can't really see the holes. If I hold it close, you can see tiny little holes where you can actually move that up, like from side to side, because it would be like this. So it'll be side to side, which will give you different suspension geometry. I've gone ahead and done them off camera because, trust me, for the sake of time and filming, it'd take too long to do. It was really fiddly. So, but it is straightforward. Just read the instructions on how to do it. It is really easy, but fiddly. Okay, so what I've also done, being that these are all carbon fiber parts, I've gone ahead and gone around the edges with CA glue. This is just purely to seal the edges. It's not mandatory. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I do recommend that you do it. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start off by attaching the shock tower to the bulkheads here. So as always, and I've forgotten, thread lock, just a little bit, as always. Don't need tons of thread lock. Alright, oh, come on. Alright, so just bolt it in. Do it up fairly tight. Just remember to let the thread lock do its job. Nice screw. Okay. So now what we'll do is we'll attach it to the chassis. As always, I keep forgetting thread lock. Okay. Now this part here, what you want to do is you want to kind of do it tight, but not too tight, because what you want to do is tighten them up in a crisscross pattern, so that way you won't tweak the chassis or twist the shock tower. I know it sounds silly, but when you're racing, especially with on-road, you want everything to be as perfect as possible. Alright, so that's the shock tower attached. Now what we'll do is, with two screws, we'll attach the pillow balls to the shock tower. This is what These are what connect the shock absorbers from the suspension arm to the shock tower. Okay, so when you're doing it, just have a look at your instruction manual to see what the initial position is on the shock tower, because on your shock tower you have all these little holes. These are to adjust the position of the shock. So in this case it is in the middle, which is there. You don't need you won't need thread lock for this, because this is something that you'll be constantly tuning. Okay. But in this case, because we're not using thread lock, you'll want to do it up fairly tight. So our 2.5mm and 2mm wrenches in like so. Okay, so that's that done. So now what we'll do is we'll do the top deck. Now what I have done, as is the same with the shock towers, I've sealed the edges with CA glue, but I've also put the belt tensioner on. Yeah, you do have to assemble it. It's very easy. It's just two bearings side by side, lock nut on the mount, and then you just mount it to the top deck. Pretty easy. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll go through all the little holes here and put our thread lock in. What I will do now, because it does seem to gush out a little bit, I'll just get a rag and wipe away the excess. Alright, so now we'll carefully put our top deck on. Alright, so same procedure as for when we put the shock tower on. Just put the screws in. And make sure that now, how did I do? There we go. Okay, put two in at the top. I'll have to admit it's not a perfect fit. It doesn't. I might have to go over this in my spare time. So now what we'll do is we'll put each screw in. Thought I was running out of screws, but okay, so one more screw. Okay, so with this screw, do it down tight. Now what we do is go from side to side like so, with the same amount of tension for each one. Like that. And what this does is you're doing each one up, each individual screw up evenly, and so that way you won't tweak the chassis. Now I will go over this with my, like I said, once I've built this completely, I'll put this on my setup station. But there you go folks, there's the rear shock tower and bulkhead assembly and the top deck attached. So that's the end of part 7. Part 8, we will go on to a sway bar system, and yeah, we'll do the sway bar system for part 8. Part 9, we'll start on with the continuation of the steering. So stay tuned everyone.